I'm Ashley Dvorkin with Fox411.com movie reviewer Justin Craig. A blockbuster franchise returns and a loyal fan base is surely getting ready to flock to the theaters. Yes, it's The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. So Justin, tell us how the story of Katniss continues.
It takes place right after the second film left off. Katniss is now transported to District 13, which is the secret area in Panem, which is the country and country in this Hunger Games universe, and she is surrounded by these rebels who want to rise up against the Capitol and the President Snow, which is played by Donald Sutherland, and she is now being forced and coerced into becoming this figurehead of this rebellion and trying to get the other districts to unite around them against the Capitol. And she is kind of conflicted in doing this. Does she want to be the figurehead during this rebellion, or does she want to just kind of escape and retreat into her own kind of misery? Because she's totally shocked and shell-shocked and suffering from PTSD from, the Hunger Games. And she wants to get back to her life, and she wants to also save Peeta, who was left behind in the arena at the end of the second film. But we find out that he is now captured by the Capitol and become a pawn in this whole game. But then she also has her lifelong best friend and maybe romantic partner, Gale, and so it's this love triangle too that is kind of wrapped up here. And should she, stay behind in the background and kind of save these relationships, or actually go off and save the entire country from this, totalitarian government that's trying to destroy everybody?
Wow, is that it? That's it?
Yeah, so,
that's a lot for that one character.
It's a completely different model than the other two films. The other two films were actually like a game and fight for survival in this arena.
Right.
This is more kind of like Star Wars. It's really down to a war now and a battle between the Capitol and this District 13 rebel army, and kind of the battle of wits between this gameplay between Katniss and President Snow. So it's really great and completely different than the other two films.
So talk about standout performances then.
Okay,
obviously, because
sure.
Jennifer Lawrence has a lot to do in this movie. Between
Absolutely.
her and everyone else, what cast members really stood out for you in this installment?
First, I have to say that Jennifer Lawrence is at her best as Katniss. I mean, we've seen so much of Jennifer Lawrence in the past couple of years, and she won an Oscar, but I think she's really at her best as Katniss. It's a great character, and I mean, she has a lot to work with the PTSD, and then also becoming this figurehead and becoming a hero, and the romances and stuff. There's a lot she can do, and she pulls it off great. Now, we also have Philip Seymour Hoffman in here. Now, this is one of his last performances, and, he's great. But the character itself, he's one of the leaders of the rebellion. He doesn't have that much to do. As for Philip Seymour Hoffman as an actor, doesn't really have that much to do. That he's done so much better in other films. We also have Julianne Moore. She's really great. She's the president of this District 13, and she's really leading this rebellion. We have Donald Sutherland again, and then we have, the usual cast members from the first one. We have Liam Hemsworth and Josh Hutcherson.
Yes.
All right, so they're back.
So yeah. Yes. Great. Well, then, how about the action? How does the action compare? The scope of this movie, because these are big movies.
They are, and this is the biggest scope. I mean,
Okay.
There's a lot of great set pieces in this film, and it's dark. This is a very mature film. It's not necessarily for kids. I would say maybe 14, 15 and up, because there's a lot of mature and pretty violent things that happen in this film. But the scope is great. There are some great action sequences in here, and just lengthy setups to action sequences. That's actually better than the actual nitty-gritty action part, is these lead up to the lead up to these action sequences. And there's one in particular that is just a great, this is really movie magic, because there's this moment with Jennifer Lawrence. She's singing this song that Suzanne Collins, the author of the books, she wrote. So Katniss is singing this song, and the song builds into this call to action for the rebels, and they all start singing it, and composer James Newton Howard wrote this great melody, and it just builds into this awesome sequence where the rebels attack the Capitol, and it's movie magic. That is this probably 10-minute sequence that is just phenomenal, and that's really a great example of the scope that's missing from the other films. This is a real great Hollywood blockbuster moment.
Well, I think I know the answer to this, but it sounds like this one really makes it on your recommendation.
I do recommend
list.
it, but I have to say, I cannot stand that they split this in half.
Okay.
Okay, so the book, it's a trilogy, but they split the last book into 2 films, which is ridiculous. It's greedy on Lionsgate's part to split this film in half, because the movie gets to its, right to the great ending, and then it just kind of ends, and then you have to wait until next summer to see the second half of this story, which, could have been condensed into a nice 3-hour film. The first 45 minutes of the film goes on a little bit too long. Condense that 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then boom, go into the rest of the action, and it would have been great. But Hollywood is getting so greedy with splitting these things, thanks to Harry Potter, because that did so well, splitting that final book into 2 movies.
Sure, yeah.
And then Twilight did it, and then you're seeing it on TV with Mad Men and Breaking Bad. So stop doing that. Come on, know your audience, know your audience.
All right, well, for this part, which you can see in theaters, and you can see more of Justin's full review of, go to fox411.com. Justin, thank you so much, as always. And, of course, comment and tweet us at fox411. Let us know your thoughts on this and all of this week's new movies. Thank you so much again, and have a great weekend.